In question 5, we're told that before a cell can divide by mitosis, that DNA synthesis has to take place. Following the DNA synthesis, the DNA is then separated into each half of the cell before the cell divides. So that's just a recap of what we should know about mitosis. We're then given the following graph, which we're told represents the DNA content per cell over time. So this is the DNA content in one cell undergoing mitosis over a period of time. So we can see we have a fluctuating level of DNA with associated labels on different parts of the graph. We're then given 3 key events: when the cell divides, when DNA synthesis occurs, and then when the DNA separates. And we're asked which letters on the graph represent the sequence of these 3 events. Let's start with the simplest one, which would be when the cell divides. Having a look at our graph, if we think about what cell division is, it would be the immediate halving of the DNA content, because the amount of DNA content which was in 2 cells has been split equally into 2 daughter cells. So we go from 2 to 1 immediately, and that represents label K of the graph, this line here. So when the cell divides, that's K. Moving on to DNA synthesis. Now this is less of a sudden event and more of a gradual process which occurs in interphase, which is the period of the cell cycle which doesn't include mitosis, so it will be after mitosis or before. So there will be a gradual doubling of DNA content as the sister chromatids become full chromosomes, which can then be separated via mitosis. So the slow build-up of DNA content over a period of time, well, that clearly is going to be label M, so that's this line here. And as we can see, that's after a period of mitosis. So that's M. Moving on, when the DNA separates. Now, in order to be clear on what this means, we should refer back to the information in the question. We're told that after DNA synthesis, so that gives us a clue of what our answer might be, the DNA is separated into each half of the cell before it divides. So, given that the DNA is remaining within the one cell, it's just separating into different parts of the cell, into one half or the other, then the DNA content will be unchanged, and that represents label N because it's after DNA synthesis. So you can see K, M, and N corresponds to answer D in our answer table, and therefore that's our answer, option D.